It's always when you have like a real bummer, horror movie ending, you got to give it like a little bit, and then it's a real kind of nice Lynchian touch, like a real kind of poppy, just a little bit of sugar to kind of take away.
American Werewolf in London.
Fuck,
what's the song at the end of that one? It's just totally throws you off. Forget what it's the same thing though.
Yeah. And that's it. Big round of applause.
All right.
Bill, I never know you had it in you. Good man.
Another one before.
Don't talk to Anya about those groups.
Nope. Doesn't like that hippie shit. Okay. Post show. I spent like the last couple months having this more in my head than like anything else kind of going on in my life. So I could talk for about like 3 or 4 hours. I really don't want to. I want to hear from you guys. Just up top, how was this experience overall?
That's the first time I've ever done anything like that. I never did any kind of, plays in high school or anything like that. I've never done any type of acting, even adjacent things really, except for a short course that I took in college. But yeah, nothing quite like this. It was interesting. I felt self-conscious the entire time, which I can't even imagine having to do this as like my job and like seriously and well.
And in front of a lot of people.
Yeah. With a lot of money on the line. But it was interesting. It was cool.
I just have to say, every time Naveen was doing the voice of Eli, I was trying very hard not to break.
Sorry.
There was one time where you just it was just a little longer than typical, and you're like, Dad! Right. And I'm like,
I think I remember seeing Eric come close that time.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing that. There was the one part when Mickey was talking to Phil, and all I could hear was the Jim Carrey Fire Marshal Bill. Let me show you something. And I was like, I can't say it that way. I can't say it that way.
It'll be a read.
Yeah.
Naveen, how about yourself? It's just overall, you have a good time with this?
I definitely did have a great time. I tried to make it different. Hopefully, do a different voice for Eli, but I guess it was too funny. But
it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
It's fine. My Sarah was.
You have to know Eric, and there's just certain things he laughs at.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I expected him to Eric during this thing.
Anytime there's like child abuse going on, I break. It's just so funny. Not like I do it to my kids, but just seeing it or just knowing it happens, just little delight in my day.
So I've done a couple plays, but never had a big part or anything, or really a speaking part at all. So it was quite different. And then even being a narrator as well, trying to do both and kind of be distinct in both, in all the parts that I was. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was cool and really, really neat screenplay. I mean, I know I'm not a screenplay guy and know all these things ins and out, but I mean,
there are about 1 billion books on screenplay writing. I didn't read any of them. Trying to jump in before jumping in this one, I was just like, let me do one of these dry first, and then I'll kind of know what to take seriously out of any books I end up reading like later on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Papa, how about yourself? You have a good time with this?
Yeah, it was fun. I totally get how difficult it must be for actors break character, because you get into the groove as you start, going along. Once you get through your first few lines, it gets easier. The 100%. More you go along, the more comfortable you get. It just allows your brain a little time to like think in between your lines or what's going on.
There's a gear shift that kind of has to happen.
Yeah, it's just that being the comfortability with the situation where I can understand how if you're, people will do multiple takes on these kind of things because it's like, it's kind of like a high tension situation at the same time. So you're like, I got to stay in character. I got to stay here. And for me, my brain is just like, it's tough to make that switch, but I can see how people might just like break in the middle of something.
Sure.
Especially when somebody goofs up or something, some nervous energy comes out and it feels a little weird. And
well, it's just how many bloopers or post-credit scenes are just keep someone messing up in what kind of looks like just like a little bit, they just kind of get things off just a hair, and just people just burst out into hysterics because of it.
I think if we did a second or third take, it'd probably be anytime there's a reference to Uptown Girl.
Right.
Yeah.
That's going to be it. That's going to be our downfall.
What I found really interesting is, I did most like the narration in this, but kind of like I have kind of like, this screenplay like pretty well in my head at this point. And I found it just kind of knowing Alan's delivery, like when I was staring at his lines, I found it much more challenging to kind of put emotion in naturalism into it, as opposed to like some of the lines I sort of just looked up and looked at Andy, just like through like the video chat, and just it was crazy how much easier that was to kind of just perform something naturalistically when I was just kind of making eye contact with the with the scene partner, essentially.
With Phil.
I was gonna say too, I think, and it's kind of like when they're recording, like voice actors, for example, they're recording stuff. You notice they're always standing up. They're always standing up to the mic. I feel to convey emotion or to get into character. Right. I think that would add like an extra.
If you can actually move around and position your body, and
because that's the thing. Some of this stuff, there's a lot of emotion in it. The scenes where you're just kind of sitting there at the bar chatting, like you can kind of channel that energy sitting down and kind of recreating that situation. But there's other stuff too. You're witnessing somebody's murder, and you have to really get into it. So you can't just. It doesn't come out like naturally. You have to like lure it out somehow,
right?
And to almost get into the act of being there and doing those motions. I mean, I think it would just make it a little easier. But I mean, for what we did, I think we did a great job.
Yeah.
Not to
How did you guys feel about your respective characters? Because I'll speak kind of very sort of like kind of personally both on this. This is a screenplay about 4 very tired middle-aged men all kind of going through their own shit. I've had put this caveat out before. The other 3 guys are not based on you or anybody specific at all that I or you guys kind of know in your lives. Alan is the only one that sort of kind of drew from anything sort of personal. That was just kind of really yours truly there. So the assignments, I thought that all 3 of you guys kind of did like a great job. I think that this could have been executed with any you guys in like any of the other parts. But Andy, let's kind of start with you, because I think particularly as the lead, you did a really tremendous job. Just what did you think about Phil just as a character?
Phil desperately needs therapy, like a lot of therapy. I think he's. I mean, I think the way that you wrote him, it's clear that it's a dude on the edge. It's a guy that just he's kind of at his wit's end. He doesn't know what to make of any of this. It comes through very well in the conversational pieces, in the dialogue aspects of what he has to say. Just how kind of at a loss for what to do here in this situation. And I think he wants he's lonely. He wants his family back. He wants his kid back. Yeah, I don't know. I felt for him in parts. He's a bit of a prick sometimes too, but I think given the circumstances, that's understandable.
Right. I called out specifically the therapy thing at 2 very distinct points in this screenplay. Kind of at the start, Rowan is kind of like the counselor, or kind of like a little bit like the therapist sort of figure, and he kind of prods Phil at the start of like you never talk to anybody after just all the shit kind of went down, and then at the end you see Phil have a little bit of a breakthrough, talking about how distant and unhappy he was in his marriage. It kind of a too little too late thing for like his particular circumstances. But that is I'm glad to hear that from you, because that was a very intentional character beat I had for this guy.
Yeah.
I just want to add, by the way, I love this is the thing that stuck out to me the most about this script. I love how Phil just keeps getting deeper and deeper in the shit, and everybody else, it's just like another day. They're just calm the entire time. It's just like it's a Tuesday for them. And for Phil, it's like day 140 plus. I mean, who knows how many days. So I mean, I mean, imagine thinking that based on how many days have passed, how much more manic he is, or how much more just shit is blurring and you don't know what is anything anymore.
One of the just what a little stylistic thing for this screenplay. I got really excited when I had the idea, but for every scene, kind of putting what day specifically he is in his loop at the top, and then just having it be like a mystery day for like the final scene, like that's something I really want to emphasize.
Yeah.
Papa as Phil's counterpoint, as the guy that's just trying to offer counsel and help out. What did you think about Rowan? How was the character? How was performing him?
It's good. It's good. I think that I'm now secretly addicted to smoking chapstick like a cigarette. I guess that's a non-positive takeaway from this.
I think there's a patch.
What's that?
I think there's a patch that you can get patched.
Oh,
yeah, you can get a patch for that.
Yeah. Okay, maybe I'll go with the chapstick patch.
Right.
Not a sponsor.
The sticks patch.
Burt's Bees patch. Yeah, I thought actually it was kind of complimentary to myself. Just the way he talks. I like the fact that he is somewhat calm, to kind of contrast Phil's like manic personality, or just the craziness going around, like hit through Phil's head through this whole situation. It's kind of fun to be on that other side there. I think Mickey kind of portrays a similar thing, although Mickey does have the experience of going through a loop personally, while Rowan is just like, hey, just talk to Anya. It's cool. Like, I'm sure you can figure this out.
I made a very deliberate decision in this screenplay that two of the four guys would know what this experience was like, and the other two would not have experienced it personally. I liked that split and that contrast when I was developing like the plot.
Yeah, I see it. It's nice.
Yeah. I will kind of say too, like I think like Eric was a particularly sort of kind of good pick for Rowan because just despite how he does come across on podcasts sometimes, he is truly one of the best listeners I've ever kind of met in my life, and he has been like a guy, honestly, looking back, who has kind of just sort of kind of pulled me away from one or two kind of just hairy situations like in my life. So.
Yeah, man.
Aw, what a friend.
This is me doing a jerking off motion. See it.
He would never admit it on camera. Naveen, how about yourself?
Girl.
You had a like a smaller role, and Eli is probably like maybe like the most memorable thing that you did. But just how's performing Mickey for you?
I guess it was pretty neat just being in the outside there, but still part of the group for a little bit. I mean, you've mentioned it a few times now that you didn't pick the characters. Alan was your guy based on you, but I don't know. Mickey is kind of similar to a lot in my life, piano or music in general, and lost mother kind of thing, and so
that certainly like in that particular part was not like a sort of deliberate, like intentional kind of choice there. But
no. But overall, yeah, a neat part just coming into, you've got Rowan and Phil, who are obviously a little tighter knit, it seems like, than Mickey is, but still part of the group. Mickey's still part of the group, and trying to help be there and help out as much as he can and give it the experience. He's got the experience of the loop where Rowan doesn't, but I guess doesn't have the closeness. I guess at the same time.
I mean, just so like sort of, I kind of came up with like this dynamic is Phil and Rowan are kind of opposite energies and kind of like sort of like kind of bouncing off each other. And Mickey is kind of the guy in the group he's a bit more chilled out. He is just kind of off in his own world like a little bit, but things don't quite sort of bother him in the same way. He's not kind of like on one polarity or the other. What I liked when I was sort of working on the screenplay, what I liked is the contrast of Phil and Mickey. I was thinking a lot about COVID. Obviously, I think a lot that comes up like a lot thematically in the script. But looking back on like the year, 2 years when we were just kind of quarantining and kind of dealing with stuff, I sort of see Phil and Mickey as the two guys in the group who have had this experience as kind of the opposite ends of just how people dealt with COVID and quarantine and lockdown and all that crazy shit. Mickey is a bit more one of those guys that just kind of chilled out. He's like, okay, this is the way that things are. He made sourdough bread. He played board games. He watched Tiger King. He kind of, and even though some kind of terrible shit happened to him, like in the same way that a lot of terrible shit, loss of friends, family, coworkers, kind of during COVID, he kind of kept this thing together. Versus what Phil, I think, like a little bit in my head represents is the guys that during quarantine, during COVID, lost their goddamn minds, became radicalized, got really angry at government or society or mass or medicine, or just even if they kind of went through less than the Mickey types, figured out ways to become sort of just kind of real dickheads because of just what they thought like the universe was kind of putting them through.
Yeah, and it certainly comes across.
Yeah. Alan, for me, I just kind of had the character like in my head. The one sort of like additional thing I kind of want to say about him is I would remember, kind of growing up and being like a nerdy kid, and kind of Star Trek: The Next Generation was one of the only nerd TV things that we had at the time. So I watched a fair amount, despite just not really liking it that much. There was a thing Next Generation would always do where when they needed some sci-fi solution to something, the science officer would come out, he would say a bunch of just kind of buzzwords and technical nonsense, whatever, and people just sort of look at him and he goes, oh no, it's just like, imagine you're shaking up 3 ice cubes in a mason jar or something like that. And people are, okay. A beat I really wanted to have in this scene between Phil and Alan was I wanted Alan to start with a sciencey explanation, then try to get across like a natural world metaphor, and then to have Phil just be like, what the fuck are you talking about? To both of those things. So that's all I'll add there.
That's how I approach basically every conversation I have with everybody, not just you, Johnny.
Right.
If you don't dumb it down to its absolute, bare minimum, most of the time I'm not getting it.
Right.
So you picked the right guy to play Phil.
What did you guys, other than kind of like sort of like the forward, like essential sort of parts of like the story, what did you think this story was kind of about thematically or whatever else, like how we talk about movies on the podcast sometimes?
Well, I guess just to tag on to what I just said, and this is like, I was being self-deprecating before, but this is the honest truth. Like the first time I read, I don't know if it was your first draft or whatever draft it was that you sent out to us at first. I'll be honest with you, I really kind of didn't get it. And I don't know if that's just because my reading comprehension isn't great or whatever, but I just didn't get it. And then I read it a second time and I got it a bit more, but I don't think I still fully grasped it. And I've read it probably 5 times at this point, plus what we just did here. And it felt like every time I went through it, more of it kind of presented itself to me, kind of like, an onion type of thing. And I don't think I really got the vibe completely until we just did this exercise of going through it and reading it, in parts.
Let me also just kind of mention sort of briefly, like the real thing I've iterated on with this screenplay is kind of realizing at the beginning, I'm not explaining enough about the dynamics of the corner. I'm not explaining enough about what happened between Phil and his ex-wife. I'm not explaining enough about what this monster is. I'm not explaining enough about kind of what's actually happening or not happening to Sarah and Eli. So like that's been the big change every time, is adding a little more detail. Of course, Eric and I had like a call like about a week ago when he finally had a chance to kind of go through like a later version, and he was like, "You're explaining way too much in this story, Johnny." That's always like a sci-fi movie, like a sci-fi horror like this. There's always a little bit of a push-pull versus kind of what do I sort of show versus kind of what do I kind of leave behind the curtain. But to like the feedback that I got from kind of you and Naveen, like initially, I kind of, with the different iterations of the screenplay, I added like a little bit new in each time, and I feel like I've liked how the screenplay reads more and more every time I've kind of pulled the curtain back a little bit for every edit.
I've read screenplays before. You know, the Harry Potter world had one with the cursed child thing that they put out, and you know,
sure.
there's other stuff like that that I've read. And for me anyway, having all the stage direction and all the, you know, voiceovers and all that kind of stuff always made it more difficult for me to follow the story.
Really?
For whatever reason, that always kind of threw me, and I found myself, my mind would wander to, you know, oh, what would that scene look like if it was actually on the screen in front of me, which just made me have a greater appreciation for like real actors that do this all the time, that they're able to, you know, find a character, get the feeling. I know a director helps with that stuff too,
Right.
and whatever, but like the fact that people can go from words on a page like this to like
to inhabiting an entire human being in their mind is really something.
Yeah. And not only that, but then the people that are able to assemble all of that into, you know, the things that we talk about every week on this podcast, these amazing, you know, 90+ minute adventures or whatever. Like it's pretty incredible. I'd never really seen it from this perspective before, but it's cool.
1000%.
I just want to say, and John had shared with me as well. I don't know if he probably shared with you guys. Just part of the script, John Carpenter's script for The Thing, and you look at that and how little it gives you about the different characters and what they're supposed to convey when the actors are supposed to convey when they're doing these characters. And it gives, I like it because it gives you a general idea of what's expected of you. And then it just gives you all this freedom to come up with the character you want to come up with. And that will just, you know, impact just how the dialogue's delivered and how they interact with other characters and their relationships and stuff. So it's kind of cool to see how there's different ways to do things, right?
The description of Keith David's character Childs in the in like the prologue to the Thing script is let's see if I can do it verbatim. 28 years old, 6'5", black, mechanic, pretty chill, but don't mess. And all 12 characters, like in like the screenplay, have like basically got a like identical like explanation to that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they fucking nailed it in that movie.
Yeah.
Cheating bitch.
Yeah. It's you know, like an insight that I had into kind of writing, particularly like dialogue. Like dialogue's not hard. You just gotta come up with 20 words, and then you give yourself an aneurysm just trying to narrow those 20 words like down to 5.
See, and I wholeheartedly disagree with you. I think writing good dialogue is really, really hard because a lot of the times the words on the page, they read like somebody was trying to craft a perfect conversation. And in real life, perfect conversations don't happen. There's stuttering, there's, you know, misspoken
what I'm talking about is just like the first draft thing. I mean, like I part of me was kind of going nuts, sort of just kind of just going through the big this time, because I'm just like, okay, well, I got it. You get it from like those 20 words down to 5, where you can kind of like convey like the objective reality. But then there's some parts I was pretty proud of, but like I felt like for me, like the more dialogue a single person had in like in a single batch of lines, the more I'm like, this does not sound like a real human being speaking. And I think that's what the acting and the interpretation of like these characters really.
I'm curious to see what the old drafts are, because I think I started at draft 4, so I'm sure by that point you've worked out a lot of it. But I think I was trying to say to you too, like when I took a look at the script, I stopped maybe like 3 pages in, and I'm like, okay, eliminate the intertitles. You're giving too much. Maybe you can convey the story through like the words and the actions of the characters. Voiceovers, get rid of it. Just show like Phil sitting in the garage in the corner in the black in the grinding noise. But again, it's like how you want to, like whatever director picks it up, they can use this as guidelines and then interpret however they want. So, I mean, that was just how I did it. And the same thing for dialogue. I mean, you have to expect the actors to kind of, and like what we did when we read the script, you use, you know, what's written there is kind of a basis, and you'll follow most of it, but you will add your own little, you know, things to it that make it unique and special to you, just your character.
Eric had, when we had a conversation, an extremely good like set of points that I kind of turned into the distinction of this being the audio recording version of Screen Draft, rather than something that I think you would call like a cinematic or like shooting script. Like I kind of deliberately wrote this one as I wanted this to be recorded on the podcast at one point. And there is in a shooting script version of this, there's going to be a lot of shit of like kind of Phil messing around like in the garage or driving around or just kind of doing something that would not be, I think, kind of as compelling for the podcast audio record of it, because it would just be whoever is doing the screen narration just reading pages and pages of stuff that's happening, as opposed to actual dialogue and emotions and back and forth, which are like the interesting thing I think about recording a performance like this. Devine, on top of that, other thoughts? What's the story kind of about? Any other kind of thematic things?
I first read it on the second version, is the first one, and then the table read here. With the table read here, I mean, before I read it, obviously before, and then now again, and it was interesting, and wasn't really sure what was going on. I know we had talked a little bit as well, and I was like, "Oh, did you get this about the relationship with Sarah and Phil?" And like, no, I really couldn't. I didn't really figure that out from the second version there. But
which was great feedback for me to hear, because that I think, like, when you put these early things out, you're so excited just to kind of finish something, and you got to be, but I think like kind of keeping like open-minded and just kind of giving it to people and like hearing, like, you can never be like, oh, you just don't get my shit, man. You have to really listen to people to just sort of be like, okay, these are the things that sort of kind of like don't make sense to them when you're trying to build the story out.
Right. And then there, with the relationship of Sarah and Phil, it was deeper than just they got a divorce and she moved away. There was something bigger that happened that I didn't get there. But the whole monster and black corner thing was just really neat, and yes, confusing, but I think that was a good kind of confusion, because it kept the mystery and the suspense and basically the horror, like, oh man, what's going to come out of there? Why is it happening? So that was definitely necessary and needed. But it's, even now just reading it, still not knowing what this monster is basically, and why is it coming in through loops.
Right.
But I did like the Alan's last little bit of there's a deeper abyss than the anglerfish that we know nothing about. And
I agree with that.
Spirits,
I like that,
dead dragons, other old gods. That just fucking popped in my head once I was taking a walk one day. I'm like, that is a bar.
It's great because
my favorite line on the screenplay.
If you're listening, you're like, okay, like it's already established what the anglerfish is and does. So maybe this is some form of that. But then it just takes it like one step further. It's like saying, what if this isn't what you expect? Maybe this is something that's completely like foreign and different and that you can't explain.
Right.
And so that just adds like something different to it, that people start questioning what they knew up till that point.
Right. The monster at the end, I mean, it's certainly something left up for interpretation. It just could be a representation of Phil's guilt. It could be the spirit of his wife that was killed on one day in the loop. It could be some demon or some Lovecraftian thing that is kind of tormenting him because it knows like this actually sort of happened. I mean, like the specifics don't totally matter, like in that kind of way. And that's that concept of you've committed some kind of mortal sin, and something otherworldly is haunting and punishing you for it. That show that kind of story exists just kind of as far back as the human mythology does. And I think that the thing I was just kind of going for this story is I was just trying to not create anything sort of particularly inventive and new, and not over explain it, just kind of put it out as like, this guy is just being punished for something stupid and fucked up that he did. Okay, any closing thoughts, or do we want to kind of get on to a quick gift opening before we call it a night?
So just quickly,
sure.
Something I want to add: when I was reading the script, you keep referring to Stebbins, and then how they try to stay awake to see if Stebbins is there or not.
Right. Like
a few days later, I almost felt like there's a subplot going on where Phil was like, if I can find, and again, this doesn't play out based on how it's written, but in like an alternate script or an alternate version of this, I could totally see something where Phil's like, look, maybe it's not me trying to get to Sarah, but it's also me trying to prevent the loop from ever happening by trying to find Stebbins and killing him before Q-Band goes live.
Right.
I was starting to think that for a bit, and I'm like, maybe this is where the Stebbins angle is. Like
what's revealed with the Stebbins character, and what's also just kind of revealed with the conversation with Alan at the end. There's kind of big moments early in the script, and this would, I think, have more impact in a 90-minute long shooting script. But there's the moment between Phil and Mickey where he's just like, yeah, I was just trying to kind of put everything that was happening on my head, playing piano every day. I had to retune it, but I kind of noticed the piano seemed more and more in tune each day. And then his friends at the start of the movie don't believe him. Like, people aren't supposed to go through these things twice in their lifetime. That's been one of the only things they've been like definitive about. Phil's whole thing through the screenplay, through the story, is he's just trying to get definite answers about what's happening. Yeah. The third act, Alan actually shows up, and I really like this kind of as a tossed off detail, but Alan shows, and he's like, that thing that Mickey was describing, that was kind of like a big reveal early on. Yeah, we fucking know that's happening. It's called subtle echoing. There's fucking math behind it, and it's a blink and you miss a thing. Also, like, personally resurgent loops. He's like, yeah, we know people can deal with this kind of more than once in our lifetime. Like, it's insane that we would tell anyone definitively that that's not a possibility. This is just line the corporations behind this and the governments came up with to kind of keep people settled and under control about it. A longer version of this would have elaborated on like the Stebbins thing. I think a longer version of this would kind of, like I said, separated the montage and like the voiceover parts. And I think like a longer version of this would also have kind of teased the monster aspects of the monster like a lot more. The fact we perform this 30, 40 minutes, like whatever it is. I'm much as like, we can kind of do like the Twilight Zone thing and kind of show like the thing once at the end. And like, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, it also could just been Eli. It's like, dude, you killed my fucking mom, so I'm here to get revenge.
Right. Mom's out in California right now. She's learning Reiki. All right. Any other closing thoughts at all?
No. It was fun.
Good job, Johnny. That was fun.
Yeah.
I'll just kind of wind it down again. Just thank you guys so much for just kind of pushing me to do this thing, and thank you guys so much for just all the feedback and the encouragement. Like I said, shout out Leonard as well. But just I've probably not done like a long form creative writing project since I was like, think about, like, I've done like essays and some professional stuff and like just yada yada since then, but like actual sitting down writing some long form that I actually made up, it's probably been since college, I want to say. So this the encouragement here really meant a lot. So just thank you so much for all of this.
Do more.
Yeah. I'm currently working on my second screenplay as we speak. This one's going to be a lot funnier, a lot stupider. It's going to be called, I think, first time announcing on the pod, Duck-Billed Killipus.
Jesus Christ.
Duck-Billed Killipus. What are things I'm researching for the screenplay of Duck-Billed Killipus? The East Hampton, Massachusetts textile factory. The band Winger. What are considered the world's best sandwiches? How many crazy ways did the CIA try to kill Fidel Castro? I'm learning a lot of stuff about duck-billed platypuses. And I'm also, I needed one more character in there. And for like a janitor that dies early. And actually, specifically on Eric's encouragement, I added a guy called Fingersmith. So
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome, my friend.
That's a callback to this.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how excited I am to read this.
This one, I knew I could. So I know I can kind of do like the silly and stupid stuff. Okay, so now that
I don't think you told Naveen as well that Mickey's last name was Mouskowitz.
No, that wasn't. Eric pointed out that I had a character named Mickey, and Sweetbread's original name was Mouskowitz. And when this is why you need editors, and this is why you need.
I was so happy. I'm like, I know I'm the only one to say this.
Eric
but you can't have
on that phone call. He's like, I got a hot hair.
You can't have a Mickey and a Mousekewitz
Right.
in the same script.
I can't believe I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah.
I cannot believe I didn't pick up on that.
Like I said, reading
Yeah.
comprehension is definitely not my strong
No,
suit.
the screenplay has been my own personal loop. I probably read it 1,000 times. I never even.
Don't worry, Goofy sent me.
So the actual progress of it was Eric wanted me to change. So Mousekewitz was the original name of Rowan's pill dealer. Eric and I got on a call. He's like, you can't call this guy Mousekewitz when you already have like a Mickey in the screenplay. I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
What do I call him? And Eric's like, Fingersmith. And we get up. And then we're going back and forth like 2 hours. He's like, fucking Fingersmith. You have to call him Fingersmith. I'm like,
Fingersmith.
I'm like, I like it, but I don't know where else to go with it. And Eric finally, and this is why you need collaboration. This is why brainstorming work. Eric's like, okay, what's the ethnicity of this guy? I didn't even think about it. I just texted Eric back, Fall River Polish.
Yeah.
I was like, that's pretty good. And then Sweetbread just kind of came.
I had so many awful racist things provided for that. And I was like, Fingersmith, it's just like, it's nice. It rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, there it is. I got a guy, Mousekewitz. Mousekewitz?
Mousekewitz was fucking funny to me, but just like totally Eric was 1,000%. I can't have that in Mickey. Like the same,
yeah.
Don't give me two mouses.
Yeah. And Eli's original name was Tommy, and that's actually credit to Leonard. He's like, you can't call this guy Tommy.
Yeah. Tommy. Interesting. Okay.
Oh, hi, Mousekewitz.
Oh, hi, doggy.
Yeah.
I reordered a pizza, silly.
Right. Oh, Phil, you think of everything. Christ. Do we end the podcast after doing the room?
We'll have to see when we decide to do it.
How we're feeling. Like we should have led with the room. That's where you start, because beyond that, it's just.
I guess we have to see after old.
Your exact argument. Yeah. Let's do like a little gift opening and then kind of call it a day. Andy.
Okay.
You had a certain thing that showed up on your front door.
I did.
Okay. Can before opening, can you just show?
You have a visitor.
So I have a little
right
box
up to the camera.
That has a picture of Wilford Brimley on it with the word diabetes written across his chin. Spelled Diabeetus, because obviously
diabetes.
I would just love to see all the delivery drivers who have to handle that package and be like,
that went through. Yeah, I was tracking it the whole time. That went through Phoenix. That went through Jersey City. A lot of.
I sincerely hope that the delivery drivers were cool enough to find the humor, to see the humor in this picture of Wilford Brimley. He also looks really pissed.
I mean, he's mad at diabetes.
Yeah,
and that's fair. Man. Listen, that's fair. Right. Should I open it?
Okay, let me set a slight bit of context for this. Andy, your secret, I mean, just everybody got cool secret Satan gifts from everybody else, but you could have just stopped at the rad coffee mug and the 3D printed Judy Hopps that I had such a great time painting. But the hand painted David Brockie, Odorous Arungus, War little piece of acrylic art that you kind of sent over with like the cool sort of drip and blood to like frame and everything else was so extra. Right, and so over the top, and I like the longer I looked at it, it's hanging up on my wall right now. I look at it every day as I'm kind of walking into the kitchen. I thought to myself, okay, you could have just stopped with Judy in the mug, and we would have been on par with everybody else. I am not the artist by any stretch of the imagination that you are, but I'm just like for the War thing. It's not enough what we just kind of did. But it's like I got to balance the scales a little bit with
I think you broke them.
With a little with just I had to do kind of something, and I sat with it for a long time. Like the Gwar thing was so much, and it was such a amazing piece of work. So this box contains a little bit of my own private, very stupid artistry as as a gift to my friend and a way to kind of balance out what I feel was a very just uneven situation. So if you want to go ahead and open it and then kind of show to our co-hosts on camera.
What I would like to say first is I did it because I wanted to, not because I was and didn't expect anything in return at all. It was fun to do.
I bet you didn't
enjoyed it.
expect diabetes.
I didn't expect diabetes. That's the gift that keeps on giving. Actually, that's herpes. But anyway,
my third screenplay.
All right, so I'm going to open this guy up.
Uh-huh.
Let's see what we got here. So we have a mason jar. Is that a mason jar? I guess that's a mason
before
jar.
you open the mason jar, there's two pieces of paper.
Yes, there are.
Look at those.
There certainly are. Okay.
Judy Hopcorn.
It's dirty, isn't it?
I have an idea of what this might be.
What does it say?
So, it is a card that I'm going to say comes from a board game.
Okay.
It says Dr. Blair on it. Ability. When you are in the laboratory and you are assigned a use action card, you may draw an additional lab token. And on the back,
can we show the card on the camera real quick?
If you guys can see that.
Yeah.
Right.
And then on the back, it says just revealed encounter. So it's a whole bunch of, I don't even know what the gaming term for this would be, but stuff.
It looks like it says encounters.
Yes, encounters. And then up here it says just revealed. Down here it says in game. And then there's a whole lot of like iconography. This plus this equals this kind of stuff going on the side there. So that's the first one. The second one, it says,
it's a little card, greeting card.
It's a card. It's a picture of the character, Dr. Blair. It says that thing wanted to be ... And then open up, and it's a picture of him yelling, "Us!"
He's holding an axe, and he's actually, for that particular scene, that's the one where he's just kind of chopping up all their radios and computers and everything else that will let them kind of get to the outside world. Yeah.
So that's that. And then, now
there's finally the mason jar.
There's this mason jar, which is jam jar, which is adorable, by the way. And on the inside, on the inside of it is there we go. Is stuck to the bottom. There we go.
There's a little bit of putty to kind of keep them in place.
A little bit of blue tack.
Yeah.
This is awesome. Is a little miniature. I don't know if you guys can even see it.
Right.
Painted Dr. Blair. Wow. That's impressive.
It's a little hand-painted Wilford Brimley, Dr. Blair from the Thing board game that I bought for the 4th episode of this podcast.
Yep.
And never had a chance to get to it all.
There's some real detail on this. I'm impressed, Johnny.
What's that? It's like a little insulin pump printed.
Motherfucker! I was 5 seconds out from saying that. Check out the tiny insulin pump. How goddamn
yes.
Very cool.
But he's got his he's got his kind of stylish dark wash jeans.
Yeah, man.
He's holding a scalpel. He's got his untucked yellow dress shirt and his kind of bright green suspenders.
Yep.
I hate to tell you, Andy, but he actually dies in the movie. Sorry.
No, come on.
Yeah, but he'll live on. He'll live on in your office
forever.
Yeah.
He's even got a sweet little bald spot.
Yeah.
You probably can't see it.
Ow. Oh. It's shiny. It's too bright.
So that was a board game I bought 2 years ago as a surprise reveal when we did our Thing episode, which is episode 4 of this podcast.
I do remember.
And I was thinking like I could have done something like a little bit more. Why am I even bullshitting? Like I saw the Guar thing, and what immediately popped in my mind is like, I got to send him Wilford Brimley. He just has.
I love it. I will cherish it always.
Sweet. So.
Yep, he's awesome.
Cool. So what'd you get us?
What?
It's funny. John told me.
Eric,
he's just like, hey.
The typical Eric narcissism of like, I need to balance the scales out because of Andy's sweet Guar thing. I sent him a bunch of photos a few days ago, and he thought I had made it for him.
Yeah. I think I said something like, "Thanks, man. I appreciate
oh,
it."
Just bro, so amazing, so cool.
Yeah, and you're like, "Oh no, this is for Andy." I was like, "Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, sure it is. Of course it is.
I would just ask if we ever get the chance. So the card in there is actually a gameplay card from the Thing board game itself. If we ever do have the chance to all hang out together and knock it out, I would ask you kind of bring it that they would sort of bring that with, so you can play your doctor there.
Will do.
And does Naveen and Eric also get? They're not going. You're not. Neither one of you are going to get Wilford Brimley. I'm not buying a second copy of this goddamn board game. Just
that sucks."
Yeah.
Who's next?
It's all the gift giving there is. So scales are balanced. Gentlemen, any closing thoughts before we wind down for the evening?
No,
No.
I'm all set.
Nope, that was fun.
Good script.
That was fun.
Yeah, it's all good.
Coming up next week, Big Jim Cameron's 1984, The Terminator, back to the new to you neo-noir cycle. Who has seen this?
I have.
I've seen it.
Okay. Have you watched it as an adult, or is it like more like a kid, teenager watching?
Yeah, no, I saw it. I mean, probably 25 years ago.
Yeah, I think I actually watched it last year or the past couple of years because my wife wanted to get her son into it and show it from the beginning. So we watched the first one and the second one.
You married a good one, buddy. I've said it before.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've seen T2 a number of times.
Yeah.
But I think I've only seen Terminator 1 one time. So I'm excited to watch it again.
T2, I think I brought this up in the last podcast, but is a very kind of early version of just what modern blockbusters are. I've not seen the original Terminator probably since I was relatively young, but it's a very dark, very different, very interesting movie. I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, honestly, I had the same thing happen to me for Aliens. I saw Aliens, but I hadn't seen Alien. So I had to go back and watch that, and I'm like, oh shit. Like, Aliens is so much fun. It's like a great movie. Love the dialogue, love the characters, intense as shit. And then you see the first one, and it's a slow build horror film.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's a great movie. So, but it's like two completely different things. That's what I'm kind of hoping for here. Is the first one is just everything the second movie is not, but in a good way.
Right. I'm excited for that one, and then, like I said, sort of coming up after that, Old Boy, the thing that 2 years ago would have kind of strangled the podcast in the crib. We'll see how this one comes together. Episode 87, Rebels Without a Pod, the Anglerfish Cavalry. Gentlemen, thank you so much again. This was such a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
And 9:30, right on the dot. So let's call it a night. Take care.
Nailed it.
Don't worry, guys. We'll be back.